Hello, everybody. This is Tim, and this is going to be episode 29 coming up. We had a guest on this week, or we do have a guest on this week. His name is Matthew Perniciero, and he is a film and television producer. He's done a lot of documentary work. He has some shows on HBO right now. He has a movie coming out that he's involved with called Rip, Rip, Hooray. It's a documentary about classic comedian Rip Taylor. If you're a Gen X kid or older, you'll remember Rip Taylor. You know, he had the funny mustache, and he always had the toupees on his head. He was a staple on every game show in the 70s and 80s, and variety shows, and he even had his own shows too. So we recorded the interview Monday, the 13th of July, and the first 10 minutes of it got screwed up beyond repair. And so for that, I apologize to Matthew, but we do have a good chunk of it. And on it, he talks about the movie, and most importantly, he talks about the Kickstarter. The Kickstarter link will be in the show description, so you just have to drill down there. But I'm going to read it out anyway. Kickstarter.com/projects/rip rip hooray, and it'll take you right to it. And it's pretty cool. I mean, I've always been a fan of Rip Taylor's ever since I was a little kid. I used to run around the house wishing I had confetti, and I'm sure that my grandparents and my parents were both happy that I did not. Let me read a brief description of Rip Rip Hooray. This is a new documentary which gives audiences an in-depth look at the life of comedian Rip Taylor. It launches exclusive digital pre-sales of the film via Kickstarter, and it is available now, featuring exclusive interviews with the late Rip Taylor, who passed away in October of last year. Viewers will hear his story for the first time in his own words, from his early days as an orphan child in Washington, D.C., to serving in World War II through the golden age of television. His never-die spirit propelled him to stardom despite the naysayers who thought he was too different, and yes, there's a lot of confetti, and that's from the description. So the film was directed by Anthony Barnau and produced by Matthew, who I mentioned earlier, of Bow and Arrow Entertainment, Kevin Mann of Haven Entertainment, Frank Kelly, and Scott Mosier. Bow and Arrow's Michael Sherman, Haven's Jesse Hara and Rachel Miller, and Taylor serve as executive producers. So a little more in case we miss it, and then we'll get on with the show this week. Due to Barnau's untimely passing from cancer in 2018, the film had not been completed until just recently, and the producers wanted to approach distribution in a unique way, which led to it being on Kickstarter. So listen to the interview and then go to Kickstarter. And I want to add before you get started here, we talked about the people who passed away in the previous week, but since I'm recording this today, which is Tuesday, July 14th, we all want to say rest in peace to Grant Imahara from Mythbusters, who was only 49 years old and passed away yesterday.
They'd come out and do the curtain call, and one time they were late, and like Burton tripped and fell into the front row of the audience, and the woman was like, "What is she?" She's like, "Mr. Burton, you're drunk," and he's like, "If you think I'm drunk, you should see O'Toole." And like, like, but I don't think people talk about those stories as much anymore, and I don't think people kind of share those kind of like. That's such a unique part of the history that I think there's a responsibility of people that create content now to continue telling those stories.
Right.
Those.
Go ahead, Steph.
I was just gonna say those people like Rip Taylor and Tim Conway, like growing up in the 70s, early 80s, you just thought they were always gonna be there. It's like when they were gone, you're like, oh my God, this person's been a part of my life since I was born. And you just never think they're going to go away.
Yeah, and and it was interesting. I mean, I think as we continued making the film, we watched a lot of Rip lose a lot of his friends. I remember, when Phyllis Diller passed away, and then Debbie Reynolds passed away, and it was just, you watched a man nearing the end of his life, and knowing that he was losing all his friends, that he was one of the last people, that was left from that generation of entertainers, and. But that's what he is. He said, "I'm still here to entertain." That's what he felt like his purpose in life was. And he just loved doing it. I mean, he was just a really special guy. But yeah, I mean, and it's funny too. You mentioned that because they also were kind of omnipresent, right? Like they were on the game shows, but they were also doing their comedy specials, and they were touring, and they were doing plays, and they were, releasing music and albums. And then, I mean, we have like this whole section where it's like Rip was on like Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, and like, it's just like they were everywhere. And it's different now. And I think it's important that we go back and look at those times.
Yeah, now you get everything thrown at you. There's TMZ, or there's, an expose, and here's this, and they shove it down your throat all the time. I mean, only if you seek it out, or if you're in a place like social media. But something like this, like you had touched on earlier, you have to seek it out and promote it. If you're like us, we'll promote it so other people can find it. But I love it when I discover something I wasn't aware of that I will like. And I don't know I like it until I watch it. But that feeling of discovery that, oh, this wasn't hyped up, and I didn't know what this was, and this is great, and it's new, and it's mine. And
the current analogy would be, stumbling upon that series on Netflix that had 8 seasons and never watched any of it. It's amazing.
No, totally. I mean, I remember when I was a teenager, just going to like Blockbuster, right? Because I grew up, I was born in '79, so like I'm like prime teenage years for like the Blockbuster generation in the '90s, and just going and like roaming those halls and looking at the boxes and being like, oh, I've never heard of this, and like it was film school before I went to film school, and like I hope that young people are still seeking those stories out and are still trying to discover, people are still trying to discover things, and not just letting the algorithms push things to people. And like, look, like we work with the streaming companies a lot, and we love working with them. And I think, one of the benefits of where technology has brought our business right now is that, I remember I grew up in North Carolina, and I remember like waiting, like I'd have to wait like 2 months for the movie to come out. And most of the movies I really wanted to see, or I'd read an article about or hear about, would never come out in the theaters where I lived. And it was about waiting until they got on video. So I think now there's kind of an immediacy, that people will hear about something that played at Sundance, and then all of a sudden 2 or 3 months later, they can immediately access it on streaming, which is great. But like I said, I hope we're not losing that sense of discovery, because I think it's so important, to kind of that kind of self-curation of, discovering these things.
Were you able to get Rip Rip Hooray in any of the festivals before COVID?
No, I mean, because the film is currently not complete. So one of the reasons that we're doing the Kickstarter, and we had been talking about working with Kickstarter on something, for a while. We'd kind of had a couple meetings with them over the years, and it said, I'm really interested in the idea of kind of being able to access audiences directly. As well, and thought that this could be a really great opportunity with this film to do so, especially during this period of time. So one of the reasons that we're doing the Kickstarter is to, have some funding to complete the film, but then also we're really kind of pushing the Kickstarter not to necessarily ask for donations, but we're much more saying it's about engaging with the audience now and getting people to learn about Rip. And we're really looking for people to pre-order the movie, basically. Like, well, you can pre-order the movie and you'll get a copy of it that you own forever. And then we also have like merchandise and a whole bunch of other fun stuff associated with it. But that was the real kind of motivation, was like, this could be a great way to kind of sidestep a little bit the traditional distribution and sales process that we all do, and really look at how do we get to people directly.
Tell everybody some of the levels that they can sign up for on our Kickstarter.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different levels. We have, if you would just like, well, for $7, you can just get an envelope full of confetti, and you can just Rip Taylor at home, and just throw a bunch of confetti all around your house or your apartment. But our initial premium or primary level is the $15 level, which is a digital download of the movie. And again, the way that we're doing that is it's not rental based. It's you are basically getting a copy of the film as if you bought it on DVD or bought it on one of the sell-through platforms. They go up from there. We have a level where you can get a T-shirt we have a great company called My Sticker Face, which is does these kind of personalized face stickers, and our poster designer is a partner in that company. So she designed this amazing poster, all handmade out of confetti of Rip's face.
Cool.
So
The artwork's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you. And she came up. We were kind of had this idea of a concept of building Rip out of confetti, and we were trying to figure out ways to do it digitally, and it looked digital. And she said, you know what, I'm just going to make it, and she did, and it's wonderful. So where you can get a sheet of stickers of Rip's confetti face. You can get a canvas tote bag with the digital download is $30. A T-shirt with the digital download is $40. And then we actually have we have special thanks in the end credits. Because they kind of all go up from there. We have a couple of credits available. There you go. And then one of the big ones we have, and I actually have them here. I pulled them out. At some point, and I think it must have been the 80s, Rip made plastic luggage tags of his face. So when we were doing interviews on the documentary, he brought a stack of these, and he had a purple pen, and he started signing them, and said, just give these out to the camera guys. And so he just handed me a stack of them, and we had 4 of them left. So we said, all right, we're going to include that in the Kickstarter if someone wants a direct from Rip Taylor signed plastic luggage tag. But it's a great little piece of, Rip loved promoting. He loved promotion. I think his jewelry, he had the funniest jewelry. He had this one necklace that was like all diamonds, and you lifted it up and the wig came off. It was like it was all diamonds, and you just lifted up one piece, and then his hand was like here, and it lifted the wig off. He just had crazy stuff. It was awesome.
I know if I saw that suitcase on the carousel at the airport, I would just be like, COVID be damned. I have to meet this person.
Exactly. But yeah, so we have a whole bunch of really fun stuff for people to engage with. And look, for younger audiences, I think a lot of people know Rip from the Jackass films, but they don't know as much about his comedy and the game shows. They kind of that generation just missed that. So we wanted to kind of get into people's, get awareness with people early so that people could start engaging and learning about Rip, even before the movie would come to them. So
when he stopped by the radio station in 2005, when I was on that morning show, for the Dragon Con thing, one interesting thing I noticed about him is he carried a sack with cash in it.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if he still continued that.
Yeah, he always had cash. I mean, I would always pay for lunch. That was the thing. He was always like, but never at IHOP. IHOP, he had like a tab. So he would really only eat at a couple of different places. But his favorite place to eat was at IHOP in West Hollywood, which has like been there forever. And it was like him and like you'd see like Rodney Bingenheimer there all the time. Like it was just like the two of them.
Is he still on radio out there?
I don't know if Rodney still does a show or not. I mean,
just throwing that out there. Yeah.
I don't know if he still does, but I mean, at least he did up until a couple of years ago. But I don't know. K-Rock, I think, is kind of like a whole different.
Well, that was a good documentary about that guy. Fascinating man too, Rodney.
I did a film many years ago about the Germs, the punk band, the Germs, called What We Do Is Secret. And Rodney was a character in it. So he came and visited set, and that was a pretty cool experience. But yeah, Rip would go to IHOP. And like I said, I never saw a bill when we went to IHOP. I think he had like just a tab that like there, but yeah, he always carried cash, and he always had jewelry. And he was just, he would drive. I mean, look, even towards the end, he would drive himself, and he'd just pop around West Hollywood and go to this spot and that spot, and he had his whole day planned out always. So it was great.
Oh, we're all really looking forward to seeing this movie. If hopefully, and fingers crossed and everything, the Kickstarter is successful. When are you looking to deliver on the digital downloads?
In the fall. Our goal is in the fall. I mean, depending on the timing with the Kickstarter, our goal would be to have the film completed by the end of September, to make delivery probably by the end of October, early November. And like we said, it'll be a system for everyone that pre-orders the film. They'll get a direct, a download of the film. We're not going to be putting it on the platform, so it's going to kind of have this unique window, at least not for the foreseeable future, so that it's kind of this community will have the first access to the movie. And then, we're going to kind of figure it out from there. But that's the goal. It would be probably mid-fall by, when everyone gets a link in their email saying, hey, it's ready to watch.
You want to?
Well, hopefully some of our listeners will be able to kick in. And I know I've shared the Kickstarter around a couple of the Sid and Marty Krofft pages on Facebook that I'm a member of. So hopefully
thank you so much for doing that. Yeah, no, and we're just trying to kind of spread the word, and it's a new experience for us, but it's been I think it's a really cool way to finish this film and get the story out there.
Now you do an awful lot of work in Hollywood, right?
Yeah, I do quite a bit. As a producer, and my company is called Bow and Arrow, and we do a lot of narrative and documentary films. So I've been independently produced films.
I like Betty quite a bit.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I was personally more involved with Skate Kitchen, but I obviously very, very excited with everything with Betty. And I'm so happy for Crystal. Crystal's such an amazingly talented human being that I am so excited for her that it's coming back for another season. And yeah, look, when you can make an independent film that ends up becoming a TV series on HBO, I think, everyone's pretty happy with that outcome.
No doubt.
I kept waiting for the dude from High Maintenance to show up and sell him some weed.
Maybe in season 2, I don't know. But in season 2, there'll be some crossover. But yeah, no, Betty's great, and Skate Kitchen was a great experience making that film. We just had a couple of films that played at Sundance, a few films that played at Sundance this year. The first of which came out last month on Netflix, called Disclosure, which is a really powerful documentary about transgender representation in film and television. And then we have another film that comes out in a couple of weeks, which will be on VOD first, and then on streaming platforms later this year, which is called The Fight, which is all about the ACLU. And a really powerful, really, really beautiful film from the team that did Wiener, the directors that did Wiener. This is their next documentary. And then we have another documentary that comes out at the end of the year called The Truffle Hunters, which is a beautiful film. So.
Isn't it interesting that they've been making movies with people who are transgender for ever since there's been movies, and it's only 2020 when they're like, no, we're actually going to cast people who are transgender to play these roles from now on.
Yeah, and that's it was a real amazing experience making that film and working with Sam and Amy, the filmmakers, and who dedicated years of their lives to the telling of this story. And I think a lot of times people just they didn't think about it, right? There was a norm that had been set in Hollywood for decades, that, oh, this is just kind of how it's handled, without kind of thinking about, well, is there a transgender actor or actress that maybe would make more sense for this role? Those dots didn't connect for a lot of people, it doesn't seem like. But when you kind of put all the representation side by side, it becomes really shocking, right? It becomes really aware at how much has to change.
Mm-hmm.
And even the strides that have been made over the past few years. Laverne Cox is a producer on the film with us, and one of the key interviews and narrator, and kind of narrates certain sections of the film. And she's just an unbelievable person, and so strong, and kind of has broken down so many barriers in our business. And so to watch kind of this generation of performers finally start to get their proper due and get cast appropriately, it's been a pretty amazing thing to watch. But I think the film is really a reminder of how far we still need to go.
I have to say, I love Pose, and I learned so much just from watching that show. I always feel like I'm pretty open-minded, liberal, know this, know that, but they really do give you the perspective of what it was like, especially then in the 80s and the early 90s, how rough that was. And I just, of course, at the time I was like a teenager, I didn't think about anything like that, but it's such a great show, and it made me want to watch Disclosure.
Well, I think because it's a history that hasn't been told, right? It's a history that's kind of been swept under the rug, right? It's not, transgender history is not something that you're learning about in school when you're learning about even, things that are like, very important, like civil rights movement, which are taught in schools now, but they're not teaching transgender or LGBTQ history. They're not at least at the same rate, by any means. So I think that was the thing for us. And I think the film is a history lesson for so many. And look, it's one of those films that you're just as a producer, you're just really proud to be involved in a movie like that. That's kind of opening this many eyes.
Was Rip Taylor aware of this awakening that was happening the last couple of years he was alive? Did he seeing it, or was he not a person who was into that, more into just being who he was?
I would say Rip was really just more into being who he was. Like I said, I think one of the things about Rip was he just lived his life the way he wanted to live it. And he didn't, like I said, I think for him, and I think probably this is generational to a certain degree, is he wasn't ever going to define who he was, or did he align with this group or that group. He was just being Rip Taylor. Yeah. And he was not going to kind of, have any definition to his, like I said, what that meant to anyone else. And, so I think the thing for us was kind of exploring, his journey through kind of discovering who Rip Taylor was, was pretty interesting. There's some unexpected things that I think people will find out about Rip. One of Rip's serious girlfriends in his life was Ella Fitzgerald.
Really?
Yeah. And he was on a tour where, he was an opening act for, a lot of singers, and they got to know each other, and, he tells his story. And, I think, that's just one of many unexpected things that, you wouldn't think about Rip. But, like I said, he wasn't going to let anyone define who he could be or who he could be with or what he could do.
Fascinating. I want everybody that's listening to this or watching this to go to the Kickstarter, kick in if you can, and keep Rip Taylor's memory going. And Matthew, please again say what the Kickstarter is and any kind of social media that you want to promote for the film.
Yes. So the Kickstarter is Kickstarter.com. I think you can do Kickstarter.com/projects Rip Rip Hooray, or you can do Kickstarter.com/Rip Rip Hooray. I think both of those actually work. And then if you start searching on Instagram, is kind of our primary platform that we're really using, but we have Instagram, Facebook. It's at Rip Rip Hooray. And like I said, you can also just Google Rip Rip Hooray Kickstarter, and it'll bring you to all the appropriate pages.
Awesome. We really appreciate you taking the time to come on the show, Matthew. It's amazing, and I hope that the movie's super successful, and we'll be behind it and support it as much as we can.
Thank you all so much for having me. I really appreciate it, and thanks for helping spread the word about it. It's an important film for all of us.
We're all sprinkle genies.
I got my confetti going in the background.
Hey, lots of confetti. You know what? There's a lot worse things in the world than confetti, and it reminds you. I think that was we have a story about how the confetti came to be. I'll leave that for a secret. For
watch the movie.
But yeah, it's you see that man and his mustache throwing that confetti in the air, and you just kind of smile. And I think we could all use a smile here and there.
I'm a little hoarse. And by the way, if you want, there's tons and tons and tons of appearances that he's made throughout the years available on YouTube. So you can watch him on Jackie Gleason. You can watch him on an MDA show from 1992. There's tons of it. So if you want, I always get stuck in YouTube rabbit holes. I love
Hollywood Squares. Squares.
Tonight Show.
Yep. And the beauty show. The Untitled Beauty Show is always a gem. But.
And one of Chuck Norris, one of Chuck Barris's game shows that I liked it. I remember watching it when I was a kid. It's like, why isn't it on anymore?
I know. Well, I think it was supposed to be so bad that it was good, and it was bad, but Rip made it great. So, I think that was the joke. But
like the Gong Show.
Yeah, exactly. And the Gong Show obviously was amazing. So.
And I like the Gong Show because every season you can watch him get more progressively into cocaine. The shirt opens up, and we'll be right back with more stuff. Matthew, thank you, man. Best of luck to everything. Okay.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Take care. Nice to meet you.
All right. Nice to meet
Good
you
luck,
guys.
man.
All right. Thanks.
Let Ira on now.
He was great.
I got to go pee, but I'm going to leave it recording, so feel free to talk amongst yourselves.
Hey, Ira. What's going on, man?
Hi. Can you hear me all right?
Riff.
Talk again.
Yeah.
I guess that's a no.
That sounds, no, it doesn't.
Yeah, a little tinny, but.
Yeah, it's weird sounding.
All right, I'm gonna take this thing. I thought it might be better with my headphones, but
I think so. Yeah, because it
All right,
sounds
hold
like you got a damn one of them throat modulators on or some shit.
Huh, that could be better for me.
Luke, I am your father.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Ira? That's not your office.
Yeah, where are you, Ira?
How's that?
Much better.
That's good?
Oh yeah, much better.
Ira's like podcasting from a hotel room or something.
Yeah, where are you at, dude?
I'm at work again, as usual.
Oh, okay.
Where's Tim? There's Tim.
There he is.
Peeing. I was taking a pee-pee.
Oh, yeah? You were making a sissy?
I was making a CC. So I think the first 5 to 6 minutes of that interview wasn't captured. So
Why?
Operator error, but I'll record an intro and that's why I brought some stuff up again.
Yeah.
Joke. Well, that's fine. That's cool.
It's not fine. It's stupid.
I like your face. You're looking good.
Thanks. No, it just pisses me off because it's like, oh fuck. So, my bad.
Oh well.
I'm sure there was better shit later on in the interview. Anyway.
There was
Right?
tons. That's why I brought up new stuff. So
That dude, I would love to have him back on again. Just talk to him about Hollywood shit
well, yeah.
and other crap.
Anytime.
Yeah, I'd love to have him and Mosier both come on. They've done some great shit like that.
Mhm.
A band called Death documentary. You ever see that? I think it's on Netflix. It's about this hardcore band called Death.
I know the band, but I didn't know there was a movie. That's cool.
Yeah, the band called Death is a really good movie. And Milius, you ever see that? The documentary about John Milius.
Oh,
That's really good. I don't know if I was going to ask him if that was streaming anywhere because that is fantastic.
we should have kept him on. And no, but we'll talk to him again. We got to talk to him again. Will you send him an email and thank him for everything? Ira's here, so before we get to everything else, I want to tell you about the Radio Labyrinth's wonderful, very nice sponsors. Atlanta Pizza in Euro is open for dine-in service. So come on in and eat. They clean the place down, and you can get four.
We scrubbed that shit. They scrub it.
They scrub it. They got a hose. They bring the hose in and then all over your face. Atlanta Pizza in Europe. They don't have a hose. It's still what? They do have takeout. They don't have a fire hose to make everybody down, but they have.
He's not gonna hose you in the face, guys. Go.
You hoser.
It's bukkake clean.
No, don't bring that word into this. This
Why?
is a commercial.
Mike will love it.
Nobody wants that word in their commercial.
Mike is different.
A rag company. We make rags for bukkake film. They have
All right,
takeout.
sorry. I'll shut up. Sorry, Mike.
You don't have to shut up. Just don't bring up bukkake. Takeout and curbside service for those who prefer it, and you don't have to pay ahead of time. So that's really awesome. Go to the website Atlanta Pizza Euro, and if you don't know how to spell Euro, it's GYRO.com to order online for pickup or delivery. And remember, they thank everybody who has been supportive through these tough times for the restaurant industry. And if you've been to Atlanta Pizza in Euro, please leave a positive review for them on Google. If you didn't have a nice time, you didn't like your food, well, keep it to your fucking self.
Yeah.
That's across the board for everybody.
That's for everything. Stop bitching about everything. If you know, go online and put something. I had a nice time, and that's it. You know, I went in there. There wasn't wearing a mask, and it made me mad. So I had to follow him around the store. And
We went in there and ate. Everybody was wearing masks.
yeah, and everybody made fun of me for doing it. And then 2 weeks, I'm like, do I have?
No, but I mean the staff and everybody were all masked.
Hell yeah, they were.
Yeah.
And plus the food's good. So let's not forget our other friend, Brett Perkins. We very much appreciate his support and his business, LDI Repro Printing of Athens. That means they make like big ass things that like blueprints and schematics and things like that. They have all your construction printing needs, commercial or residential. Listen, even if you don't need something, call up and order something. They'll make something for you. It's in Athens, Georgia since 2005 with a fast turnaround and affordable prices. And you won't know unless you call. So call 706-316-9366, or you can email them at athens@ldine.com. Well, welcome to the show. Ira, it's been a minute.
Has it? Well, I guess I missed you last week.
Yeah, a minute. A while.
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks, Ira.
I've been so friggin' busy. I just everything just seems to be blending together. So I
Sorry.
apologize.
You know it's bad when your own farts make you disgusted.
Ugh, damn, Tim.
Oh yeah, right. I'm on a new diet.
You're having that problem too?
I'm on a new diet. I had eggs and vegetables all day.
Oh yeah? Oh, you're going keto.
No, well, I don't know if it's keto. It's I can't really
Low carb.
mention it down here. I can't mention it down here, but I am being endorsed by a company.
Oh
And,
yeah?
yeah, and they teach you how to eat properly when you're 50, and you should know better.
Yeah.
No McDonald's for you today.
No, but boy, did I do that last week. Oh, I'm starting this diet Monday. I think, I'll eat a Chick-fil-A every day. Even Sunday, I went to the Dwarf House. No, I didn't. Anyway, so well, let's just kick it off with some news.
All right.
So, do you have any news?
What's new?
No, you said don't worry about it.
I know.
Can I? Well, I do have a little bit of news, just my own personal news.
Sure.
I just wanted to say that I shared my little fundraiser on Facebook over the weekend. I do this every year, my Strut Your Mutt thing, right? Remember I talked about it on the show last week or whatever. Do you know that our listeners, they got me up to like $820
Holy shit! Congratulations.
in like a couple of days.
Thanks for Radio Labyrinth listeners.
I mean, Tim Slayton, Matt Carter, Kevin Blanchard, Eric Malmstrom, Tim Allen. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. It means so much to me. And I was just like, holy shit. And I'm crushing everyone on my team. They look like fools. So thank you guys so much. Anyway, I just wanted to say that.
It's still going on?
Oh, yeah. I've got 112 days left, and I've already left all these people in the dust. And, but still,
It's
please.
because you're famous. Celebrities always raise a lot of money.
Oh,
sure. One of your co-hosts
sure.
would like to donate. He's glad that he still has enough time. Where can people go to donate?
Go to strutyourmutt.org, and you're going to look for, pick a team, go to the Bartville team, and just find me on there and sponsor me. I'll take anything you got. Anything.
That's what I heard.
Everybody knows that, Steph. Come on. It's old news.
Anyway, it made me, in these times of garbage that we live in these days, I had dabbed my eyes a little bit. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
It meant a lot to me. So thank you guys so much.
I still feel like I'm going to start punching myself in the balls. I feel bad the first few minutes of that interview. But I wasn't going to be like, hey, can we start over?
I think it got better as it went on anyway, so.
Record a nice intro and introduce them and
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
read a little bio or something.
I'll put the show out Wednesday, and I'll send out a little message tomorrow on social media. I don't think anybody will really be that upset. So in addition to Steph's good news, we have some bad news. We've lost some people since last week, and as we
Who died?
do every week.
I love it when we start off with death. It's so uplifting.
Well, the first person to enter our collective consciousness as a freak who screwed her kids in school, teacher that screwed her students, that would be Mary Kay Letourneau. She's 58 years old. She passed away at the end of last week, and may she rest in peace. But she was the one that kicked off the whole, hey, the teachers are starting to fuck their students.
That's a great eulogy, Tim. I'm sure they're going to read that verbatim at her funeral.
Yeah.
They worked together, though, for a long time after she got out of jail, right?
Well,
Well,
married.
The kid.
she got out of jail and she wasn't supposed to see him. I think he was still a minor. She was let out for good behavior or whatever.
But then eventually when he became of age, weren't they married for quite a while?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then they got divorced
I think
recently.
his kid is
Right.
actually older than him.
No, her kids are older than him.
Yes,
Right.
I know. But she really was. She was the first one, that was like, oh yeah, and then they glom onto it, the pre-TMZ era, but it was Inside Edition and A Current Affair, all that shit.
Yeah.
And the first thing I thought about when she passed away was, okay, well, I feel bad for her family and for the guy, but how are they going to keep milking it? Well, I'm sure they'll do a special. Teachers who fuck.
Right. Well, they've done plenty of those specials.
Yeah, it wasn't. No, it was Pamela Smart is the one that paid the guy to kill her husband, and that was what To Die For was based on Pamela Smart. I know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Pamela Smart though.
Yeah.
Ugh, she had a meth face.
Oh.
So rest in
Didn't look like Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, no.
Definitely not to die for.
And rest in peace to Kelly Preston, 57 years old. She was right in our wheelhouse as far as the movies and stuff that she was in. Also was married to John Travolta, and you got to give it to them. They didn't tell anybody. Nobody knew.
Well, and I didn't hear about it. The first time I heard about it was when I saw it in our doc. When was this?
Well, it was either yesterday.
Right?
Yeah, yesterday. But they didn't announce it. She's had it for a couple of years, and John Travolta and neither of them had even brought it up. And so you got to feel bad for Jan.
Well, what did she die from?
Cancer. Breast cancer.
Breast cancer. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about it.
She was in one of the first like dirty movies I remember watching when I was a kid. Hanky Panky.
Yeah, I remember
Oh
that.
yeah.
Who's the other?
Not
Who's
a
the
good
guy?
movie.
Who's the guy in Hanky Panky?
It's a blonde-haired guy. Reminds me of Alex Winters, but it's not Alex Winters.
No, I know who you're talking about, though. He goes over to her house and he screws her, and then her mom comes home or her grandma or something. He has to split, right?
Right.
Oh, no. Hanky Panky is Gene Wilder and Gilda Radner.
What's it called? Mischief.
Mischief.
Oh, Mischief.
Right.
Yeah, Mischief.
Yeah, I had that movie on VHS, and the track.
I liked that one too. Yeah.
Deductive reasoning, but
That was one that would come on HBO at midnight.
Yep, Doug McKeon was the kid's name. Now I wonder if he was related to the McKeons.
Wait, and what was that other movie he was in too, where he was supposed to? He never took off.
No,
he was supposed to be the.
Huh?
He was supposed to be like a Christopher Adkins or.
Yeah, Chris Atkins was in Blue Lagoon.
Mm.
Oh.
This guy, what is his name? Okay, yeah, I don't know what other movies this
Doug McKean.
Yeah,
Mhm.
He was in on Golden Pond.
That's right. He was her son.
Well, Kelly Preston was in Drugstore Cowboy, right?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
Who was opposite Matt Dillon in Drugstore Cowboy?
Is that the same red hair you have on your those eyebrows?
Really?
No, I don't know who. I don't know who you're talking about.
No. All right. Well,
I know
figure
that
out.
wasn't her though. I mean, she's in a ton of films.
Jerry Maguire.
Yeah, definitely Jerry Maguire, Spellbinder.
She was like one of the originators of The Loser.
What?
On Jerry Maguire, remember whenever
Oh, that's
he
right.
dumped his ass after he was whatever, and she walked by and was like, it was like right at the start of that when people were doing that all the time.
She started off on a lot of TV shows, though. She was like on Chips and Riptide and shit like that.
Riptide.
Oh, she must have been 15 on Riptide.
Yeah.
So we can
She
go
was young.
way back. Quincy, she was on Quincy. She was on Hawaii. This is how old she is. She's on Hawaii Five-0, I guess the last season of Hawaii Five-0. She Blue Thunder, the TV series, not even the movie. Amazon Women on the Moon. Remember that film?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
You've never seen that? That's
Yeah.
kind of
Me?
Kentucky Fried Movie stuff.
Oh, of
Oh,
course.
Kentucky Fried Movie.
Yeah, it's the same people. And she was also in From Dusk Till Dawn. So rest in peace to Miss Kelly Preston. Benjamin Keogh, do you guys know who that is?
Yeah, I put that in the doc.
He
Yeah.
found a new place to dwell.
Oh, dude.
Ugh.
Now you're going to hell. Benjamin Keogh, 27 years old, is Lisa Marie Presley's son and Elvis Presley's grandson. And that's just a terrible thing, because you don't know anything about this guy. Did you know anything about him?
Nope.
Mm-mm. I know his sister.
His sister is an actress, right?
Yeah, she was in the Girlfriend Experience.
What's that noise?
Irish guy next there.
It was Kelly Lynch was in Drugstore Cowboy. Sorry. Carry on.
I forgot what we were talking about.
We're talking about Ben Keogh.
Oh, right.
Elvis
No,
is-
his girlfriend, his sister was in that show, The Girlfriend Experience. It was the TV show realization of the Soderbergh movie.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
It's filthy. It's absolute smut. It was great. The first season, anyway. The second one was terrible. But she was in that, and she was in a couple of other weird-ass movies that have been out recently. She's always naked.
My granddaughter's naked on a TV show. You can watch her shake her tits all day. So anyway, that's terrible. I mean, you don't know what goes through people's heads. Money can't buy happiness. And finally, rest in peace to the Washington R words.
Not that R word.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 88 years they were named after a horrible thing that they used to call Native Americans until, I don't know, maybe the 1920s. And they have a new name. It should have been announced by the time you're listening or watching this. You'll know.
That was going to be my next question. I wasn't sure if it was announced yet.
Cucks. That's what's going to be the Washington
The Cucks. Oh yeah,
Stop
I
it.
did see the Cucks.
Washington Cuckolds.
Kansas City better watch your ass. That's all I'm saying.
What's that?
Kansas City better watch their ass.
Well, the Braves, Kansas City. I read something today. Some idiot in the Washington Post wrote this long article about it. The Texas Rangers need to change their name because the Rangers in Texas have a blah, 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 blah.
Really?
Yeah, fucking idiot.
What
Let's
Let's go
about
about it. The
what
Expos.
about Airborne Rangers?
What about
Lone Rangers?
Lone Ranger? Well, the Lone Ranger was a Texas Ranger. What about Walker, Texas Ranger? Walker says, I got AIDS.
So what are they going to call them? Is it the Generals?
I don't know.
No,
We don't know yet.
they're debating a bunch of different names. Red Wolves, Red Tails,
How about,
Warriors.
Savages.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they'll love that.
No.
You forgot to R.I.P. Naya Rivera too.
Who's Naira Rivera?
Oh yeah,
that's an actress. That's
Lady from-
horrible.
Oh yeah,
I
she's
finally found her.
oh horrible story all around with her poor kid and the
Yeah, and the kid was in the boat. And jeez.
That's a terrible, terrible story. Thanks for reminding me.
No, just we're in the thick of it still. I thought, let me just throw it in there.
No, that's a super.
Oh
sick-
yeah, I love starting off with this shit. It's so good.
Well, we had an interview before all this. So you're starting.
It makes me feel great. It's starting for me.
There's no way to go but up.
Yeah,
That's true. All right, yeah, I take it back.
yeah. All right. How about this?
Let's start depressed and end happy.
We're gonna go ahead and just make a leap. We're gonna make a leap right now to July 1990. How about that? We'll get in the time machine. All these people are still alive, except for Elvis.
Yeah, let's do it.
Elvis's grandchild hadn't been born yet. I think Lisa Marie was still banging Michael Jackson. I don't know.
That never happened.
I need you guys to tell me what happened in July 1990 because I don't remember shit.
Well, Steph.
Do it, Tim.
Oh, it's me.
How dare you?
All right, so we're going to do this. We're going to talk about July of 1990. Kicking it off with July 3rd, and 2 Live Crew was formally charged with obscenity in Florida. Do you remember that when people would get mad about it? Song lyrics or performances? Like now you could do anything. You could fuck a bowling ball on stage with someone else's date.
Yeah.
No one cared. But back then, if you said swear words and you had sexy women on stage, you got in trouble. And Luther Campbell, not the best spokesperson. Out there. But I liked that. It was a fun album to play at a party.
Oh yeah.
And to laugh.
Everybody had that album. Are you kidding me?
Don't those guys have a Atlanta connection somehow?
I don't know. I didn't really follow them much after that.
Just put her in the book.
Do you remember that Chris Rock used to do an impression of him on SNL?
Oh,
No.
yes.
Yeah, it was pretty vicious.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. More news from July of 1990. On the 4th of July, 400 New Kids on the Block fans were treated for heat exhaustion in Minnesota.
400?
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
That was 10% of the audience, probably.
Jesus.
July 7th, Martina Navratilova, the best turf on earth, won her record 9th Wimbledon. Why'd you write Wimbledon? Who wrote Wimbledon?
Wimbledon. That's what it is. It's Wimbledon.
Not for her, it's not.
Wimbledon.
Yeah, that's why we always play the... July 10th, Andrew Dice Clay cries on Arsenio. Why did he cry on Arsenio? I don't know. We just kind of
I vaguely remember that.
Wikipedia. You do? You saw it?
No, I remember the story. I remember the deal, but I can't remember why he cried. Arsenio got him, I think it was breaking his balls too hard, or, about being a misogynist or something.
He showed me his penis and it was bigger than mine, and I cried.
Oh!
Oh! I don't want to start no
People were starting to come down on him and his whole persona at that
That's
time.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Before it's done. What's she done? July 12th, Boris Yeltsin quits the Communist Party and opens his 50th bottle of vodka. When I worked at Bob Evans in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. We had
Boris Yeltsin came in.
no, we had two Bosnian refugees, husband and wife. So, whatever, the Yugoslavians, but they had fled the war. And he was an engineer, and she was like, they went from being, very respected, having very respected careers in Yugoslavia to, washing dishes at Bob Evans. But, good for them. Anyway, he could barely speak English, and but he was political, and he knew stuff. And I'd say, what do you think of Boris Yeltsin? He would go, Boris Yeltsin, team, look, Boris Yeltsin. He'd take a bottle, go, goo, 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 goo. And I said, what do you think about Bill Clinton? He'd go, Bill Clinton, friend to Bosnia, friend.
Yeah.
Moving on, July 14th, Howard Stern's summer show premieres on WWOR-TV, which we call WOR-TV, Channel 9 from New York City. That show was hilarious.
Yeah, that show was awesome.
Yeah.
And every episode of that show is canceled. And if you can find an episode, they're on YouTube, you'll find out why. A lot of very sensitive things on there today, by today's standards. Certainly not 1990 standards when nobody cared.
Well, they did care. That's why he got a lot of shit from, the mainstream, really.
Right. In the fall, though, when Saturday Night Live came back consistently in markets where people had WOR, Howard beat SNL every single week, even reruns. But you got to see for the first time Stuttering John doing interviews on video camera. You got to see Whack Packers. You got to see Howard dressed up as Clarence Thomas. All sorts of horrible things.
Well, I sent you that Gilbert video the other day.
Oh, yeah. He was Gilbert Dice Clay. That's where that came from.
Just the cigarette was like,
Gilbert looks so good.
You can tell in that clip that Howard could tell Gilbert was not enjoying smoking the cigarette.
Right.
Yeah.
So he was just fucking with him by making him just talking and making him keep doing the cigarette.
Right.
Keep smoking it, even though Gilbert was hating it. That was hilarious.
He could have just done the cigarette and not done Dice, and I was still just cracking up.
And now we'll talk about what happened on the 16th. We had the Judas Priest trial began, and I think that ended up being a hung jury. Oh, no.
What was that about? The Satanism stuff?
Kids killed themselves.
Oh, yeah.
So bad.
Judas Priest never made anybody kill themselves. On the 17th, Deion Sanders, who was a New York Yankee, can you believe that? He hit an inside home run. Yeah, he was. I have the baseball card, but he didn't stay with them for very long. Speaking of baseball, on the 19th, you had Pete Rose sentenced to 5 months in jail for tax evasion. I'm sick of Pete Rose not being recognized by MLB. They recognize everybody else. Let Pete in.
But wait, so he got tax evasion then? But the real reason he got in trouble was for betting, right?
Well, from baseball, yeah. But he didn't seem to be that smart of a guy.
Apparently not. Lived in my hometown.
When baseball gets a new commissioner, though, can't they recognize Pete Rose?
No, Pete Rose is banned from the Hall of Fame until he dies. I mean, they could overturn it, but nobody wants to because baseball, they like to fillet each other. They're like, oh, God, what would George Will think? Or, who cares?
He was probably a horrible racist. He'd be canceled anyway.
Who, Pete Rose?
Yeah, I'm kidding.
I don't think so. He worked for Marge Shot, but he is not Marge Shot.
No, don't you? I think him and Johnny Bench probably have the souls of angels.
Johnny Bench, I bet he does. No runs, no drips, no errors. Rust-Oleum. Fuck it was. On the 21st, Pink Floyd performed The Wall on the other side of the Berlin Wall. The Berlin Wall was gone.
That was a big deal. Oh, yeah. When did you I haven't heard that song since the podcast.
Yeah, I can't get it out of my head. And
Me neither.
Finished it a week ago.
Yeah.
Follow the Moskva, down to God, keep on.
That's what the CIA wants.
Yeah, they get to him eventually, and they ask him about it.
All right, don't give away the ending.
I'll go. Oh, here we go. Here's some good news, some juicy news. Remember July 24th, 1990?
Yes, of course.
When 30,000 Iraqi troops massed near the Kuwaiti border, ready to move in. Oh, yeah, good times. This is before the war started.
That was then, huh?
That what?
That was then? That was July 90?
Yeah, they hadn't invaded yet.
That wouldn't be prudent. Saddam Hussein marched in there, bomb them. And the 25th, Roseanne was very patriotic, singing the national anthem at the Reds Padres game. I thought it was funny. I don't know why people hated her so much for that.
That's damn disrespectful, is what that is.
It was.
And now, those same people now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What else? Zsa Zsa Gabor went to jail for slapping a cop.
I remember that.
Darling. And George Steinbrenner was forced to resign as the principal partner of the Yankees. And the good thing about that is the reason the Yankees won so many World Series after 1995 was because all the people that he would have gotten rid of for like washed up losers weren't traded away. So you got Bernie Williams, you got Andy Pettitte, you got Derek Jeter, that whole line of people. Yeah. Some of the movies from July.
Wait a minute. I just feel like you did not do any justice to the fact that this was the first year the Saturn rolled off the line.
Yeah,
really? 90?
Yeah, it rolled off the line and into traffic and blew up. They still make the Saturn?
No.
Too bad.
Definitely not.
But my sister had the sporty one, the from 1990.
The SC1 or some crap.
Yeah.
It was some.
Well, she bought it like 5 years later, but I used to drive the shit out of that thing. It was fast, actually.
Yeah, but they fall apart. You hit me like you run over a pea in the road. Maybe I'm thinking of the Fiero. All right, now on to movies from July 1990. Now, these movies, there's not a movie in here that I think I dislike. In fact, there are a lot of my favorite movies are in this. Die Hard 2, Die Harder, which we know Steph hates. She doesn't like John Amos.
Shut up! I love John Amos. How dare you?
Didn't you say you didn't like this movie because his nostrils frightened you?
No, that was not me. Oh my God, we stop these rumors.
That's all we do is start
I love
rumors.
John Amos.
Somebody said they hated Die Hard 2, and I don't remember who it was.
I didn't say I hated it, and it certainly wasn't because of John Amos's nostrils.
Why does this keep happening to us?
Yeah, that was the one with Dennis Franz, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Speaking of Gilbert Gottfried and Andrew Dice The Adventures of Fairlane, which is a great movie. I think people really shit on it, but it's a good movie.
It holds up.
It does.
I went to the theater with my friends to see this movie.
I think Jeff and I saw every one of these movies in the theater. I've never seen The Invisible Maniac.
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, we're gonna skip over that. Ghost. God, Ghost ended up being an Oscar-winning film.
Whatever.
You don't like Ghost?
I don't know.
It's sappy, but it is a good movie.
Sappy, man.
She's great in it. Whoopi Goldberg. Demi Moore, you could drop her in anything, and she's just going to be Demi Moore.
That's a perfect early 90s movie.
I just think men got pissed because it put this whole pottery fantasy into all these bitches' heads that they had to sit and throw a pot with them or some crap.
Until
and then chicks were cutting their hair all over the place, to look like
so many that did not have the face for it. So.
Right.
Definitely.
I mean, everybody's beautiful.
Let's see.
Some haircuts in our everybody.
What is The King of New York? I don't remember that movie.
Oh my God, King of New York, man! They had like everybody. It had Giancarlo Esposito, Christopher Walken was the star. You got Larry Fishburne. I mean, it was like this was an epic gangster movie. This was at the start before that. Then there was New Jack City after that, and I
gotta watch it.
It doesn't. It hasn't aged well.
No,
I'd say it's very much of the time. And Christopher Walken acts like his acting in it is very. He phoned it in, is what I'm thinking now as I watch it years later. But at the time, I loved this movie.
Well, I'll have to watch it. I've never seen
David Caruso. David Caruso before he was on NYPD Blue.
Yeah, David Caruso.
I mean, there's King of Comedy. There's there's Gangs of New York.
Mm-mm.
But no, King of New York, I didn't know.
All right, the next one is my favorite movie from 1990, bar none. Well, maybe, I don't know. Directed by Andrew Bergman, this movie stars Marlon Brando, Matthew Broderick, Bruno Kirby, and Penelope Ann Miller. All right?
Oh, it's great.
The Freshman, one of my favorites. So funny from start to finish. Marlon Brando plays Carmine, also known as Jimmy the Toucan, and he got sued for being in this movie and doing basically an impression of The Godfather, Vito Corleone. He got sued by Coppola, and Coppola lost.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, but
Wow.
that was the first movie I saw where they kind of referenced another movie like that, and it was in a real movie, and it was very strange, but it was done very well.
Well, yeah, you have, who else is it? B.D. Wong. It's the first movie you see him in, if you remember. And Maximilian Schnell, we know him from Flash. Whoa. He's Larry London. Basically, the plot of the film is, Brando plays a mob guy. He takes advantage of Matthew Broderick, and it's involving like endangered species and eating them, and they're cooking.
The Komodo dragon.
Yeah, the Komodo dragon, that famous scene where at the mall and at the airport and all that. It's super funny. And Bruno Kirby, a great job in the movie. Burt Parks sings There She Is. There she is. Burt Parks, who used to host Miss America. So
Yeah.
great movie. If you've never seen it, check it out. Paul Benedict, by the way, is in it. And he's the snooty film professor at the school. And he was also the Jefferson's neighbor.
Do you think Coppola sued him because Tucker bombed? He needed to make some money back.
Oh, yeah.
Tucker was a good movie, but maybe.
He had the real Mona Lisa in his house. He goes, no, this is the real one. There's a copy in the museum.
Yeah. Navy SEALs.
Ooh, Navy SEAls.
Arachnophobia.
Oh, Arachnophobia was kind of cool, actually. John Goodman, right?
Yeah, that's right. God, that movie.
I saw that in the theater. It wasn't bad.
That movie still, I can't hardly watch that movie. It gives me the tibbly tabblies like all over. I can't stand it.
No thanks. Problem Child. Gilbert Gottfried.
That's Gilbert, right?
And and John Ritter. And the Beach Boys theme song. And Presumed Innocent, which is a Harrison Ford movie. I'm innocent.
Vasquez?
No, different movie. But this is Raul Julia. He's an attorney, and he's banging another DA in the office, and she dies, and they think he did it. And really, it was his wife. Sorry to...
Wife did it. Spoiler alert.
The wife did it. But my friend Mark spoiled it for me. They went and saw it. I'm working at the Time Saver. They come in, which is a convenience store. They come in. I said, how was the movie? The wife did it. And then they walk out.
Like, you fucking asshole.
Hate those people.
Oh, the wife did it. Problem Child and Presumed Innocent. The top shows on TV in 1990. You had Growing Pains, Doogie Howser, A Different World, Matlock, Arsenio, The Wonder Years, which, by the way, is coming back. Did you know? Did you know Wonder Years is coming back? Yeah.
They're going to the producers of Blackish.
Yeah. It's going to be an African-American family in the 60s.
Oh, I thought they were going to have Fred Savage's kids or something.
No, they wouldn't do that.
In the 60s in Alabama, and I'm wondering, is this a comedy?
I'm sure there'll be a very special episode. The Wonder Year.
Well, there will never be.
Get out of there, boy.
I can't see it. I feel like there's going to be a lot of sad times.
Oh, yeah.
Music will be better. Full House, Married with Children, and The Simpsons.
Oh, man.
Back then.
Yeah, that was a great year for TV.
Mm-hmm.
Designing Women. Baywatch. I like Designing Women.
Designing Women was that was all supposed to be from down here, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I didn't know about that. And then years later, I found out about
that. Twin Peaks, Who's the Boss? Samantha. Cheers was still on. In Living Color, which was a fucking hilarious show.
They premiered that year.
Yep.
Did it?
Fox was awesome that year, man. And we didn't have it in our town yet. So I had my dad record The Simpsons and Married with Children and In Living Color for me. Pee-wee's Playhouse was on, L.A. Law, and China Beach. China Beach, of course, with the great Dana Delaney. We're going to talk about the music.
I could talk about Married with Children for the next hour.
We should do that one of these times. Let's just there's a ton of hit songs from the 90s. I'm going to bust through these real quick because I kind of got to rap. And and we'll do our little playlist after.
Did you rap Will Smith style? DJ Jazzy Jeff? Weren't they big?
Yeah, my wife banged my son's friend. Yeah,
It's an entanglement.
yeah, she cuckolded me. Going to live with your aunt and your uncle in Bel Air, and your wife's going to bang some rapper. I mean, did you hear about this?
August Alsina is not a rapper. He's an R&B songster.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should have said Howard Stern called him a rapper. Now I feel bad. All right, here's.
I don't think he's a rapper.
Back in 1990, I would have said rapper.
Here are some of the Billboard top songs from 1990. You had "Heart of the Matter" by Don Henley, which is kind of a boring dirge. You had "Jealous Again" by the Black Crowes.
Oh, come on, man! That album came out that year. That's great.
Oh my goodness, yeah, they rock and roll.
Yeah.
You had Nelson with "Love and Affection."
Oh, good song.
You're my okay.
Was it?
No, it was not.
Yes.
It was not.
All right, it wasn't. But come on.
"Close to You" by Maxi Priest is a better song. "Do Me" by Belle Biv DeVoe was out. "House of Pain," Faster Pussycat.
Oh man.
Aerosmith, "The Other Side," another one of those awful 90s Aerosmith songs.
Yeah, but it was in a good movie.
"Faith No More" is epic. What a
tune.
Yeah, that was pretty cool when it came out.
Cool video.
Janet Jackson's "All Right." Sinead O'Connor doing Prince's "Nothing Compares to You." Well, he wrote it for her. Great song. Big hit that summer. I remember it being played. I DJ dances, and I remember the guy who spoiled the movie with me helped me DJ dance. This is one of the songs. All I want to do.
Still hung out with that guy, huh?
Oh yeah. Still talk to him. "All I Want to Do Is Make Love to You" by Heart. Not a bad tune. Here's a fun one: "The Humpty Dance," Digital Underground.
Oh yeah.
Madonna's "Vogue."
That's a good song.
It is. Almost only song. You Can't Touch This is a good song, even though, it's much maligned. MC Hammer. Number 13, "The Power" by Snap. That song was everywhere. Boom. Boom, boom. It was in commercials. It was everywhere.
Yeah.
Depeche Mode, "Enjoy the Silence." Taylor Dane, "I'll Be Your Shelter." I don't know that song.
Baby, I'll be your shelter. I'll be the one to take you through the night.
There you go.
That's exactly how it sounded, Tim.
Even bitches looking like En Vogue got a hold on. Oh, there's a song called "Hold On" by En Vogue, and with an NWA lyric.
That was a jam. That was a jam, though.
Yeah, it was. It Must Have Been Love by Roxette.
From the Pretty Woman soundtrack.
But it's over now. And number 1, New Kids on the Block, "Step by Step."
No.
Step
Perfect.
by step.
I'm going to do my songs for our playlist, which we will post in the show sheet here.
Wait, I just wanted you to mention this real quick. That the one RIP was the Pepsi AM.
Oh, that's right.
Do you remember Pepsi AM?
Yes, I do.
It was just for the morning Pepsi drinker.
Yeah.
I don't remember that at all.
I think it came out in '89, and then it was dead in 1990. They killed it.
They tried so much shit. That and clear Pepsi.
I don't remember Pepsi AM. What was it, like heavy caffeine Pepsi?
It was probably like Jolt.
I honestly, it must have been like an early incarnation of that, but it says it on the can, Pepsi, and then an A.M.
Oh, jeez.
It was discontinued due to low sales.
Well, yeah.
It was basically Red Bull.
I want Pepsi PM, the shit that's like a roofie.
Oh, yeah.
There's more
Collaboration with Sudafed.
Discontinued foods. All right, we can bust through this real quick. Ranker. Squeeze-Its, those were gross.
Mm-hmm.
They had this thing in that, everything was extreme or Squeeze-It or
Yeah.
Shark Bites. Just gummies.
Shark Bites were great. The white ones were the best.
Mm-hmm.
Butterfinger BBs.
Those
are good, too.
BBs.
Doritos 3D were not good.
What was that?
They were puffed up Doritos.
They're like little pyramids or something, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Ecto Cooler.
Ecto Cooler was the best.
I didn't mind that. Rice Krispie Treat cereal. That's a little overkill. Melody Pops, Chupa Chups. Remember those? You could blow the whistle and then eat it.
Oh, yeah.
Fruitopia. Hippies, the drink loved by hippies made by a multinational corporation.
Right.
French Toast Crunch cereal. That was pretty good.
Yum.
Yeah, French toast was good.
Cheeto Paws Surge soda, which they brought back. Snapple Elements. All sorts of Oreo O's cereal. That was gross. Berry Berry Kicks. I'm surprised that didn't make it. All right, I can't look at all this. I'm going to die.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to do my songs real quick, and then you guys can go. From 1990, that summer, I kept the radio station going at my college campus, and I brought a bunch of people in every week, students and stuff, little kids, and we had a lot of songs on the playlist. But from that summer, Cut You Up by Peter Murphy, Ball and Chain by Social Distortion, and You Couldn't Go Anywhere Without Hearing Friends in Low Places by Garth Brooks.
I got friends.
Blame it all on my roots.
I could miss the pain, but I'd had to miss the dance.
My 1990 songs are Free Fallin' by Tom Petty.
Yeah.
We Didn't Start the Fire by Billy Joel. And Black Velvet by Alana Miles.
That's a great song.
Remember those songs?
I do.
I always thought it was Juliana Margulies.
Yeah.
She did have that hair.
And the hair, yeah.
In mine, I was in West Virginia at the time. No, I was back in Detroit for the summer, but I was I was a junior going on to be a senior in high school. And we would always ride around and listen to, of course, Been Caught Stealing by Jane's Addiction.
Oh, that was 90?
Yeah. I can't even tell you how many, we just, you know, how you sing it over and over. You know every word. The video was humongous on MTV. They played it around the clock.
The one where his balls are swinging the entire video.
And he's stealing all the shit with the watermelons and all the crap in the grocery store.
And, of course,
no,
that is the
I'm
absolute
stop.
worst song on the album, too. You know.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it was. My taste in music was terrible. Because I also I also loved the Where the Story Ends by the Sundays.
Great song.
That's a good song.
She has
Yeah,
a
but
great
it's
voice.
yeah, it was. I don't know. I mean, it was just like one of those songs where you ride around with the girlfriends. And then last, because this was such a huge song that summer for me, especially in southeastern Michigan, "Rub You the Right Way" by Johnny Gill. Me and my friends, we used to do dances to the song. Horrible, terrible dances. You know the song. When
I
you
don't.
feel the magic in my touch, when I
I don't.
rub you the right way. Because Johnny Gill was grown up and he left New Edition. You know, they split off. There was Belle Biv DeDoe,
That's right.
Ralph Tresvant, and then Johnny had his own career, and this was his big hit. Rub You the Right Way. That's it.
Right way. Ira, you got any?
Well, I mean, I didn't have any, but now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going to say Seeing Things from the first Crows record.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to say the other hit from what's the Jane's Addiction record?
It was called Stop.
Stealing is Stop, yeah. Well, I mean, I know the song name. I can't remember the album name now. I'm drawing blank. 3 days?
Hello, day, hello, Rio.
Ritual del
Yeah, that.
Right.
Ritual de lo habitual.
You're talking about that song, Here We Go.
Yeah,
that
that's one where his balls
Yeah.
are taking the whole video.
And then there was another band that came out with an album in 1990. I'm talking hair metal stuff now, called Tora Tora, and they had with their hit. I mean, the whole album's great, but their hit was called "Walking Shoes." Very bluesy hair metal song. Check it out.
I remember that. I remember playing
Do you?
that. Yeah, on the radio. All right, Ira, glad to see you. You want to be back next week?
We'll see. I'll let you know.
Maybe we'll have a little game with you.
Between this week and next week, I will let you know if I will be on next week.
If not,
All right.
we're getting your dad.
Well,
Yeah, well, my dad's at the shore right now, freaking out.
Down to
I
shore.
don't know if I should go to the beach. I don't know if I should go to the boardwalk. There's people out there. I don't know if I should wear a mask.
we take his
That's
bitch
what
in
he said.
Camaro.
Huh?
Did he take a bitch in Camaro?
To the beach.
Well, you know that song? Oh, how
Yeah.
you get to the shore? My parents got me a Camaro. Anyway, bitch in Camaro, bitch in Camaro. Oh,
Is that a Dead Milkman?
It is.
Who is it? Yes. Okay.
Down at
Good.
Tony Lawn, Tony Orlando, and Dawn. Hey, thank you to Matthew Perniciaro for coming on and talking to us about his Kickstarter and the Rip Rip Hooray documentary about Rip Taylor. And apologize for the few minutes that were cut off at the top, but we got a lot in there. And hopefully we'll have him on again. And of course, we will support the podcast. Or sorry, we will support the film and the Kickstarter. So, anything else, you guys?
$15 and get a digital copy. That's what I did.
Yeah, kick in, you cheap bastard. Why do I always have to be Mr. Pink? Don't answer.
Because you're a.
Watch the movie. All right. Anything else, you guys?
I want to say.
We're not going to do what we watched and all that stuff.
Nah, I gotta wrap up.
Oh, I was just going to say one of our.
You can say.
Yeah, quick.
Well, I wanted to talk to you, Jeff, about Dark. I wanted to hear what you thought of season 1.
It was pretty good. I'm on to season 2 now. I'm going to keep watching it.
It's a pretty crazy show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, then if we're not going to do it, then forget about it. We'll wrap it up.
I just wanted to say one of our longtime loyal listeners, Michael Thornton, he hosts a trivia night at Dylan's in Lawrenceville, and he's been doing it for like 10 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they shut it down because of the COVID for a while, but he's been back at it for like a month or so. So I would just like say he's a loyal listener of ours. If you're in the Lawrenceville area, or if you're just looking for a place to go for some cool trivia, you should check out Dylan's in Lawrenceville at 7:30 on a Tuesday.
All right. And Ira, thank you. And Ira, next week, if you come on, we'll talk about Dark. I'll watch the first season this week.
Will you?
Yep.
All right. Well, I didn't get a glowing review from Jeff, so don't expect anything great.
No, it's good. I mean, it's German. It's like.
You got it.
It's dark.
It's
called
dark.
Dark, and it's dark.
It'll fuck with your head.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Yeah.
It's really well done, though, and there's like really good writing, and the characters are interesting, and I like seeing all the time travel shit.
Yeah, I guess I just love good time travel stuff, you know?
It seems like it fucking rains a lot, though.
Yeah.
Germany.
Does it rain every fucking day in Germany?
I don't know.
Just in wind, I guess.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Yeah. Sure.
And we'll talk to you next week. Rip, rip, hooray.
Oh, rip, rip, hooray.
And keep it
Canon.
canonical.
Canon.
Like Jesus.
Right.
Right.